Hi divers, this is Alec Peirce from Scuba 2000 again with another tech tip. Little ideas that might make your diving more enjoyable, more fun, and maybe a little safer as well. Today we're going to talk about the single most important piece of equipment a diver has. Of course, everybody knows that's the dive knife, right? Well, not really. There was a time many years ago when I started diving when you had to have a nice big dive knife, maybe 12 inches was sort of the minimum, and that made you into a real diver. Those days have changed, fortunately. But let's talk about the dive knife. It's often called the dive tool, but it's really a knife. And most divers like to have a dive knife. Whether you're diving here in North America, you might use it for a variety of things, cutting fishing line, chopping up various things, whatever it might be. Down south, even divers like to have a dive knife as well. It has become a very important tool. Pretty much, for most divers, a mandatory piece of equipment. Dive knives have changed a great deal. No more 12-inch knives anymore. Typically 4 or 5 inches, comfortable, easy to use, compact, and out of the way, but ready for use when you need it. I want to talk about, obviously, from a service point of view, your dive knife. You buy it, it's nice and shiny, looks new, pretty sheath. The dive knife is shiny, and it's just a gorgeous looking knife. And you want to keep it that way. You do not want it to turn into something like this, like Kevin's knife, Kevin, my photographer. This is a pretty typical knife. He brought it into me and said, "Alec, can you clean and sharpen my knife for me?" I said, "Where did you find that?" Davy Jones locker. You don't want your dive knife to end up looking like this. How do you keep your dive knife in good shape? Lasts a long time, does a good job for you. Well, it's really very simple. First of all, rinse the sheath really well. The sheaths today are almost always made of plastic. Just rinse it really well. It's all you need to do. The dive knife itself is a different matter entirely. You need to clean and lubricate the dive knife. Even if you used it in fresh water, it still picks up minerals from the water and will get rust on it. Stainless steel? No. Doesn't matter. Stainless steel will rust. If it gets deposits, salt, or mineral deposits on the knife, it will rust as well. What do you do? Every once in a while, take your dive knife, rinse it really well in fresh water, and then take either an aluminum curly cake type of material like this you find in most kitchens, or very fine steel wool. Be careful if you use steel wool, it's easy to scratch the surface. And then take the dive knife and very gently but thoroughly scrub the dive knife all over. Watch your fingers. It's easy to cut yourself. Whoops. Easy to cut yourself. Scrub the dive knife, scrub the boss off really well. All the metal parts, scrub them very carefully all over. Rinse it really well, and your dive knife will stay like this. Now, the next thing that you can do is get good old WD-40, a staple in every diver's equipment package, right? A little fine spray of WD-40 on each side is all you need. And then again with your finger, watch your fingers, just spread that WD-40 all over the knife. It'll stay beautiful and clean for a long time. If your dive knife is dull, and they usually are, even from the manufacturers, they're pretty dull. If it's dull, then you can sharpen it if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't sharpen it. Bring it to me. Here at Scuba 2000, we actually do sharpen dive knives professionally with a professional machine. Get a nice, clean, sharp edge on it without ruining it. That's what you need to do. Some knives, some of the nicer knives, like this one, for instance, actually come apart. You simply take off the head, take out the part, and you can pull the blade right out. You'll notice that this part of the blade is not plated. It's not nice and shiny like the main part. This part is actually important to clean it as well. Same thing, clean it well with the curly cake or very fine steel wool, a little spray, put it back together, do the nut and bolt up nice and snugly, and you're all set to go. Your dive knife will stay nice and clean and sharp. Not like this. Kevin. This is Alec Peirce from Scuba 2000 with another tech tip. Hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you again soon.